ever just get to wondering about the way things are today?
Oh, yes.
So many on board the gospel ship, trying to row it a different way. But if we all pull together like a family, me and you, we get a lot closer to doing what God called us to do. God built this church on love, on love. That's what it's all about. Trying to get everybody free, not to keep anybody out. The door's wide open and just as big as God's heart filled with love. I'm glad he said, whosoever will, God built this church on love.
When the shepherd found the lost sheep wandering from the fold, in loving arms he held it. He did not blame or scold. Now we can learn a lesson that will make our efforts blessed. Our methods and our message must be filled with tenderness.
God built this church on love, on love. That's what it's all about. Trying to get everybody free, not to keep anybody out. The door's wide open and just as big as God's heart filled with love. I'm glad he said, whosoever will, God built this church on love. God built this church on love, on love. That's what it's all about. Trying to get everybody free, not to keep anybody out. The door's wide open and just as big as God's heart filled with love. I'm glad he said, whosoever will, God built his church on love. I'm glad he said, whosoever will, God built this church on Welcome to Unity Church of Hawaii. This is the day that God has made. We're so happy that you're here with us. Now, please, as you're able, if you will, stand and let's sing, My Life is in God. My life is in you, God. My strength is in you, God. My hope is in you, God. In you, it's in you. My life is in you, God. My strength is in you, God. My hope is in you, God. In you, it's in you. I'll praise you with all of my life. I'll praise you with all of my strength, with all of my life and all of my strength. All of my hope is in you. My life is in you, God. My strength is in you, God. My hope is in you, God. In you is in you. My life is in you, God. My strength is in you, God. My hope is in you, God. In you is in you. I'll praise you with all of my life. I'll praise you with all of my
in you, God. My hope is in you, God. In you, it's in you. In you, it's in you. In you, it's in you. It's in you.
God being our strength, God being our hope, and that presence within, always animating us. Welcome to Unity Church of Hawaii on this beautiful Sunday morning. I trust that each one of you as well, and that spirit that abides within continues on blessing you and your life. And here at Unity Church of Hawaii, centered in God, we are transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in this world. We make a positive difference just by showing up and saying yes to life, to acting in integrity, to stepping into faith and out of fear, into faith. And so with that, in January, just embodying this faith within each one of us, that we have all the faith we're ever going to have right in this very moment. And where are we placing it is the real question. So at Unity, we love to use affirmations that continue to grow that within us, continue to point the way and keep us sure-footed on the right path. So let us try out an affirmation together. I step out in faith together. I step out in faith. I know God is leading me to the right people. I know God is leading me to the right people, to the right situations, and is prospering me in every moment. And is prospering me in every moment. And that prospering is of health. That prospering is in relationships, in every good thing in your lives and in our lives and in this community. And we give thanks for that. And today, joining me for the message is Reverend Margie Hyatt, and joining me on platform is going to be our board president, Dr. Thomas Gallagher. First, I have a couple of announcements. This week starts our spirit groups. Has everybody heard of spirit groups? Yes. Those at home, we have spirit groups happening, and this is a small group ministry that really embraces growing friendships and relationships and community. And I have a short video that explains a little bit more. All right, so I don't believe that we are having a feed of this we can hear it right near the chapel computer, but those of you at home and those of you here in the chapel obviously can't hear it. But we are going to go on to explain what Spirit Groups is about. And so we're going to have, I believe it's a 9-week, Reverend Margie? 10-week small groups, and we have different groups to choose from. And I'm going to invite up Thomas Gallagher, because I know that you've signed up for Spirit.
I have.
Okay, great.
I'm so excited. I think it's going to be so much fun. Oh. And I was able to sign up, but you know what? I've heard people saying that they're not real sure how to get signed up. Can you help walk us through what to do?
I sure can. So when you go onto our main website, all you have to do is just go up to the menu bar and you can hit Spirit Groups. We also have a banner. If you just wait for the banners, the second one, to pass by, and you can click on that. And then it's going to take you to our Spirit Groups page on our website. From there, you can register. You scroll down to the link for the registration page, and once you click that, and it's going to give you a good description of what the Spirit Groups is about. This time we're going with Eric Butterworth's Discover the Power Within, and we'll be talking about that and getting together in small groups for that as well. And then we have several different days and facilitators for you to choose from. And so just to match and meet your schedule as well. We know that you're all busy people. And so, but this is a great time to grow these friendships and this relationship in this community and really become that strong ohana that we are. And so this is one thing that we're doing to cultivate a mission within this church. And you'll find that you're going to have beautiful relationships that really prosper and that really grow from your experience with spirit groups. And so there's so much more information on our website. Remember just to click on either the banner or go to the top of the page for the menu bar, and there you'll be able to read all about it and get embedded into a group that fits your schedule. And
excellent.
Right.
And I understand that the leaders of that include Reverend Margie and Cindy Hensley, Maureen Wood.
I see Maureen right there.
And Leslie Ellenson. And that, how in the world could you ever get a better group of people to lead spirit groups? That is just simply awesome.
Yeah, they're each one of them is fantastic. And so we just look forward to each one of you joining us with our kickoff of spirit groups. And so we're going to have some fun. We're going to grow some friendships, and we're going to just really have a blast with one another. And then at the end of the 10 weeks, I believe we culminate with a group project.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and then it's a time
like
to
fun.
work together, and we'll have some good experiences to talk about afterwards. So
each group
please
has
join.
its own project, etc.
service
so
project.
That is so neat. That is so neat.
All right.
Annual meeting. It's coming up as well in March 7. And make sure that everybody gets registered for the church. If you haven't signed up, please do so immediately so that we've got you on the record so that we can send out information to everybody about what's going to be all of the bylaws and a variety of other things that you can find that's also on the website. So make sure that you sign up for registration for the church. There is a board update that is going to be after church today, so feel free to join us. We're trying to figure out whether it's going to be fully virtual via Zoom and that kind of stuff, or if we're going to do it here, but we're planning on doing it via Zoom and doing it that way.
Yeah, it's going to be so. If you just click onto the Community Connection icon on eCampus, you'll be able to zoom in, and then we'll start with the virtual town hall first, and then we'll gather afterwards to talk about Reverend Margie's sermon and get together for that. So
that sounds
should
great.
be a lot of fun.
Sounds like fun. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
With this being the next to the last Sunday, most of the time we do the last Sunday, but I won't be able to join you next Sunday, so we're going to do it a week early. So this is the board update time for everybody. So I just wanted to let everybody know that the church is continuing to work diligently. The board is continuing to work diligently, as is the ministry with Dr. Gary Simmons on the spiritual cooperative part, and so that we can all get together and start working on that to become more in alignment and or involved with and taking ownership of the things that are going on in this church. And by doing so, having spirit groups and other things like that are extremely important to be able to feel that camaraderie, that ohana that we're trying to make sure that we continue to embrace. We're also engaging in with UWM in a pre-minister search. If you haven't heard about that, we've got the paperwork that we're working on right now to submit to UWM. There's going to be a survey that we are working on, and the purpose of the survey is really twofold. One, to be able to have people let us know where we are with our Q card, looking at what it is that we are doing well, the areas that we still need to work on, but also to be able to, again, engender and work on the areas that we feel that we need a minister to help us with more than other areas, so that we pick the perfect person to be able to come join us for our senior minister. And then thirdly, let's see. We will move now into the Q card. But what I want you to do as we look at our community Q card is look at the areas that we have made significant improvement on over the course of the last year, 2 years, and the areas that we still need to work on so that when we fill out the survey, we can, in fact, relate that to the new minister candidates as we start going. So if we've got the next slide, if you will, and recite with me, please have compassion on us when we are being, and I think the slide is coming down. There we go. When we are being not enough, distrusting, but grieving, blaming, powerless, and fearful. For who we have come here to be is loving in integrity, unstoppable, spirit-led, empowered, in ownership, and transformational. This whole idea leads us very nicely into our daily word. Our daily word for today is on oneness. Oneness. And if you will recite this affirmation with me, I am divine. I am divine. Over the years, I have learned that there is a spark of divinity within me and within all people. This divine spark binds us as members of one family and deepens our awareness of God. Today, my understanding of my divinity expands. My divine nature is so much more than a spark. It is my essence, who I truly am, i.e. our cue card. I realize I don't have to rely on anything outside of myself, but for love, comfort, and guidance. Everything I could ever need from God is already mine. It is within me and is expressing as me. My realization of oneness extends to all people, whom I now see as divine fellow beings. Freed from all illustration of separation, I am aware of the divine presence everywhere expressing through everyone. We are all divine. Our scripture reading is from John 17:21. That they may all be one. As you, Father, and I in me, and I in you, may they also be in us. Again, our affirmation is, I am divine. We are divine.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here,
with you.
Even though I don't see that you're working,
even when I don't feel it, you're working.
you never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even though I don't see that you're working, even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness.
My God, that is who you are.
Please join with me in our statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. The infinite, living, loving essence of God. Take a breath with me. Allow that breath to fill you with the receptivity that opens your mind to that truth. There is only God, and I am here connected to that presence in my life, living my life in, as, and through the God presence, the God activity that moves as me, the God life that animates my very being. We are here called to be that light, light in the darkness of this world, light in the darkness of our own fear, to stand in that holy place, recognizing this great truth. There is only one presence, one power, one activity, one life, one essence of all present in us. Let's make it personal. Present in me. And I open my inner eyes, my inner sight, to see the truth that that presence is also alive in every face I meet. The infinite life of God in me, and the infinite life of God in all others, every being. We breathe into this holy truth, hold it in our hearts, and allow it to expand as we meet God in a moment of silence. I am the living, loving essence of God. I am the life of God. I am the activity of God in this world. And I say yes to bringing the light to darkness everywhere. And so it is. Amen. We call on the wisdom of our elder brother Jesus as he taught his disciples the power of prayer to move the energy of God in their lives and in the world. And we speak his words as translated from his language, Aramaic. Father, Mother, Birther, and Breath of all, create a space inside us and fill it with your presence. Let oneness now prevail. Your one desire then flows through ours as energy fills all forms. Give us our physical and spiritual nourishment each day. Untangle the threads of error that bind us as we release others. Don't let appearances make us forgetful of the source, but free us to act appropriately. Age to age, from you flows the glorious harmonies of life. May these statements be fertile ground from which our future grows. Amen and amen.
Even though I could see that you're working,
Even when I don't feel it, you're working.
you never stop working. You never stop working. Even though I don't see that you're working, even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness.
My God,
That is who you are.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Thomas. Today we begin with some questions. As we launch ourselves into this community activity of spirit groups, we're going to explore the book that will be our instructional piece during this work together, Discover the Power Within You by Eric Butterworth. And he poses some interesting questions in his original foreword to the book when it was published 40 years ago. One of which is, what did Jesus really teach? And what does the Bible, that dusty tome compiled over around 2,000 years ago, or recording the history of 2,000 years ago, what does that have to teach us about who we are and what we're about here in this life, here in 2021? I'm still getting used to saying that, 2021. And how can we make that a tool that's alive for us in our own spiritual growth? Well, I'm glad to report that the messages, the teachings that were based on the life and the example of Jesus Christ are as transforming today as they were in his lifetime. So imagine this, that we are the people who are sitting at his feet, that we throng when he gathers to talk to the crowd, and we are changed just as lives were in that long ago history. His central message was what has become the basic principle of our unity movement, the divinity of humankind. Jesus discovered his own divinity, and he knew that what God had done, God can do. That what was true of him must potentially be true for us. These are words of Eric Butterworth. We simply need to grasp this great truth in our own life, get it from our head, which is usually where we acquire thinking first, and shift it down so that it is centered in our heart, in our very being, and becomes our GPS system for how we find the map coordinates of God at the point of you, God at the point of me. Think of that little Google map dot thing that you click on when you want to find something in a Google search. That can indicate God at the point of view, because that's where God gets into the world, is through us, through our life, through our activity, through our willingness to recognize this great truth that there is only one presence, and we are the emanating activity of that presence in the world. Now, Eric Butterworth, especially in this book, Discover the Power Within You, spoke to these great truths, profound truths, and profoundly simple truths at their basis. And why would we listen to Eric Butterworth, you might ask? Well, I thought about simply reading the foreword to the book that he wrote because it was just so clear about the message that this book can put in our hands, this truth of who we are and our relationship to God and how that moves us successfully in our life. But I actually chose to read a portion of the foreword that was written on the 40th anniversary of the publishing of the book, the foreword that was written by Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou met Eric Butterworth in 1955, and she called him her living teacher. And she has been a student of unity ever since that time. If you want to know more, just Google Maya Angelou and unity, and you'll find videos, you'll find her written word and messages about the unity movement. You'll find her depth of understanding these truths for her own self and how they have equipped her to live an abundant life. So some of what Maya said in that forward statement is that Butterworth was a 20th century Emerson. His mission was to help others realize their spiritual potential and to empower the world through spiritual growth. His teachings focused on what a human being is and what a human being can do to live abundantly. What I found to be so compelling in Butterworth's teachings, and still do, is that the power of God, the essential spirit, is within each of us. We could ignore that, or we can draw upon it and decide to grow. We can heal ourselves. For me, the consciousness of our divine potential that Butterworth describes begins with prayer, begins with meditation. But this power becomes most effective when it becomes unconscious in us or subconscious. When this happens, people do exactly what they know to do. Not what they think they know, not what other people say they should know, but what they know becomes the basis of their life. With this new consciousness, change becomes automatic. We are transformed so that you don't have to think about it. It is already in you so firmly, so securely, that you automatically go to the positive thought and act upon it. That's God alive at the point of view in this world and in your life. What we know is that this work is the deepest that we will uncover in ourselves. And at the same time, we uncover some basic principles that allow us to live the abundant life, allow us to live successfully, actively connected to God. And Butterworth encapsulates them in three basic ideas. The first is the omnipresence of God. So we're going to explore some of these key ideas today. There was an unknown someone who once said, if you aren't as close to God as you once were, don't make the mistake about which one of you has moved. That little pin dot, that's not moving. If you can see the shadow on the illustration that was up there on the title slide, it's a pin dot with a shadow. So that was my idea of representing God and you, connected, reflected, moving together, identifying that activity of God. Where it rests in the world is right here in each one of us. And this idea, sometimes we act as if we think God is lost. Or do you remember the movement in the 60s and 70s, God is dead? It was a Nietzsche idea. I wasn't actually paying attention to a lot of key philosophers in grade school, but I did hear about that one concept because I was in church at the time. It was popularized, but it just does not hold truth when you have come to experience God alive at the point of you. I want to share a story that illustrates why we seem to struggle with this idea of the omnipresence of God, which is God is everywhere present. There is no place, there is no spot in my life, there is no spot in the world, there is no person, no condition, no circumstance where God is not present. Sometimes the truth of that statement, there is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, escapes us in what that means in action. It means that whatever is going on in the midst of you, in the midst of your life, your circumstances, do not forget that God is right there at the point of you. But we make up that idea that God has moved rather than ourselves. There was a Hindu legend about a legend about a time when all humans were gods. But they abused that sense of divinity in themselves. So Brahma, the chief god, well, he called a council together of those who still had their divinity present, and he said, I've decided to take divinity away from mankind and hide it where they would never find it. So let's have a plan. Where are we going to hide the divinity of man? And one of them said, well, let's bury it deep in the earth. But Brahma said, no, that just doesn't seem like that'll work, because one day they will dig down deep in the earth and they'll find it. And another of the gods said, well, let's put it at the deepest depths of the ocean. And Brahma said, no, I don't think that'll quite work either, because someday man will learn to be in water and find the depths of the ocean to discover it. And then another said, let's take it to the top of the highest mountain and hide it there. But Brahma understood mankind and knew that they would eventually climb every mountain, and so they would discover it. Someday they'd find it. Well, the Council of Gods gave up and said, we do not know where to hide this gift of man. And it seems there's no place on the earth, in the sea, where humans would not eventually find their own divinity. Brahma thought for a long time, and his response was, I think I know what we'll do. We'll hide it deep inside of humans, inside their own being. They'll search the world over, but they'll never think to look inside. Oh, the legend concludes that we've been going to and fro throughout the earth. We've been climbing, digging, diving, exploring, searching for something that has always been right at the center of our own being. That omnipresence of God is inescapable, and yet we seem to lack the ability to connect with this power in the living of our lives. When we make this search high and low, over and under, much that we have engaged in is what we call the practice of the presence of God. But most often, we practice the absence of God in this forgetful state, in our spiritual amnesia. And it's a kind of devotion or prayers or speaking affirmations where we're addressing something we imagine to be outside us, beyond the margin of our own being, rather than praying from the source of God within us, speaking that affirmation to and as that essence of God, being in service and devotion to the life of God already present in us. When we move from the absence to the practice and engage in a dynamically active relationship with God, then we are beginning to express God at the point of our holy self. Sometimes we stray so far from this teaching of Jesus, this pure concept of God, that we forget how Paul, the apostle, described his everywhere presence. Paul said this, "The God who made the world and everything in it, being Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in shrines made by man, nor is he served by human hands as though he needed anything. Since he himself gives to all men life and breath and everything. Yet he is not far from each of us, for in him we live and move and have our being. This is a passage from Acts 17, verses 24 to 8. In him we live, we move, and we have being in the world. We only get to experience God in the world when we have the experience of God in our heart and in our being. God is where we live. This is the soup in which we swim, the ocean of water that the fish can't determine that it's in the water. It's the milieu of our life. It's the air that we float in. God is everywhere present. There is no place that we cannot find God. Our task is simply to be still and know that I am God. Be still and know the omnipresence of God, the everywhere activity of the creator of the universe. The second principle is the divinity of man. This is a discovery that Jesus made in his own lifetime, and he proved and demonstrated it in his fulfillment of the Christ principle. But this is not a discovery that was of Jesus's own or only, but it was the discovery he came to share with us, the example that we are this infinite presence and essence. John 14:12 speaks of it this way in Jesus' words, I tell you for certain that if you have faith in me, you will do the same things that I am doing. You will even do greater things. You and I are capable of so much more than we expect or understand or realize. This God activity in us, Jesus spoke of our great capacity to live an unlimited life. So when we talk about this idea that we have the divine potential within us, we recognize that Jesus showed us what we can do. He showed us that we can go farther and reach higher and expand the potentiality that we have. And we can have faith that we can do this because he has done it. What God has done, he can do through each one of us. Just as we read in the Gospel of John, John is the most metaphysical of the books, not simply intended to be a record of the life and experiences of Jesus, but much more an interpretation of what those experiences and his words mean for us. So we delve into this to understand that he is talking about this divine potential within us to live as creatively, as expansively as Jesus did, even unto surpassing the power of death that we all fear. That there is nothing greater than the experience of God in us, lived outward. The purpose of life is to express and unfold this God self within us, this infinite potential. That same energy that was alive in Jesus is alive in us. The Apostle Paul said it this way, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, from Philippians. This is the same idea, that the only difference is how good we are at discovering it, in employing it in our life, in expressing it through who we are. The difference between each one of us and Jesus has nothing to do with our birth, that we are contemporary to this era of life, and he was born roughly 2,000 years ago. It has not to do with our upbringing. There is nothing to know other than that we already hold this light of the Christ principle within us, and we are called to put that light into service. There's this legend about the General Electric company that their scientific team, whenever they had a new team member come on board, they had a little ritual. They had a little fun with the new guy. And they would tell him that his first job to get oriented into the company was to frost the inside of the light bulbs. Now, this began quite some time ago. Some of us are old enough to remember bulbs with no frost and just clear, how intense that light was. I'm not, but my family bought an old cabin on a lake in Washington State, and it was so old that it had clear light bulbs, right? Yeah. So this young man, excited to make his mark on his first assignment with his team, set about putting frosting, how to frost the inside of the light bulb. Now, at that time, this was kind of the equivalent of, going to get out of the supply closet a shelf stretcher or a sky hook, all of those not so real kind of assignments that some of us have been indoctrinated with in some environments, hazed a little. Well, this young man believed he could do it. They didn't tell him that this was a joke. They just set him to the task. And with diligence, we now have frosted bulbs because one young scientist didn't believe that this could happen. Did not believe this could happen. Where are my double negatives there? And so the idea is that he surpassed the expectation held by everybody else, believed to be the truth. Now, we've seen examples of this willingness to not be limited in our potential through our lifetime. We've watched a man step on the moon. We've watched diseases that began across the 20th century with no ability to be stemmed come under control through the power of science applying knowledge to that problem until a vaccine could be created. We're living that experience right now. Can our human intelligence pull from the unlimited intelligence of the universe to create a solution for a problem confronting mankind at a huge level? Yes, we can. Yes, we always have. And yes, there will be examples in the future of our ability to live beyond what we think of as the confines of our human intelligence, our human ability. And that knowing comes to us through this understanding that God is present and alive in us. This is the concept of the divinity of man. The third principle we'll look at is the creative power of thought. Our mind is a linking mechanism to the mind of God to connect us, the link between human and the infinite. We must utilize our thoughts to connect to this God essence, rather than simply using our thoughts and our words to express our reaction to things in the world. Let us reach to that high place where Brahma hid our own divinity. Let us search and find and use the thoughts that allow us to be positive, creative, powerful beings, because we are thinking the thoughts of God as Einstein sought after. There was a philosopher in the late 1800s, a gentleman named Elbert Hubbard, who said, "Man is not what he thinks he is, but what he thinks he is." So allow us to use that tool. Our lives, we are now reflecting whatever it is we have held in our mind. Whatever our thoughts have been are now the cumulative effect that we are living. And so if we're not happy about where we are, the good news is we hold this gift of the creative power of thought to be the creative energy of our lives, to shift where we are from any given moment into some new experience that we would prefer. If you're not satisfied where you are, then begin today in your thought to build a new consciousness. As Paul wrote Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. From Romans 12:2. Jesus spoke over and over this idea that the power of our mind connected to the energy of God was our creative purpose, our creative principle, our ability to transcend whatever circumstances and conditions we find ourselves in. So I invite you to observe your thoughts. Grasp where your thoughts have been carrying you so that you can choose what you wish to create from this moment forward. To have the kind of experiences and conditions in your life that you prefer to be moving through. And to know that if it's not looking like you want it right now, there is good news that God is always present in the midst of this and ready to respond to your transcendent power, to your divinity, because God is present at the point of view. In this very real sense, our thoughts determine who we become, and we chart our own course because we live our life from the inside out. We tend to get trapped in the idea that life is happening to us when we are the creative force of our life. And when we remember and stand in that truth, we shift everything in our life and in our world into something of higher purpose, into something infinitely sacred, into that holy purpose that each of us is called to live. So this is the beginning of our journey into consciousness conditioning. When we accept this idea, these several simple ideas that there is only God. There is only God. I am a reflection of that truth, that presence, that activity. And I shape my world through the creative power of my own thinking. So let me move my thinking Godward in every moment so that I stand in that holy place. This journey, this next 10 weeks in spirit groups, is undertaking to embed that thinking in us wholly and completely. So spirit groups move through a process of a 10-week journey. The first week is introduction. We all get acquainted. We see where we're going. We make some plans to chart our spiritual growth in the coming weeks. Then we enjoy some instruction from this book, Discover the Power Within You, in video form with Reverend Michael Gott, whom you almost got to see. Michael is the senior minister at Unity of Houston, and he's a gifted teacher, a gifted interpreter of Eric Butterworth in our movement, and he's a gifted musician. So I'm pretty sure every session might have a song, Michael at the piano, and sharing perhaps his own composition. And then, as Thomas and Reverend Johanna mentioned, we get together in each group and we choose a service project, something to put that activity of God through us into the world. It might be something you can do here in the church community. It might be something you choose to serve the greater community. And we're probably trying to find a creative way to do that, mostly in a virtual sense right now, given that our meetings are virtual and life is a lot more virtual right now than some limited gathering in person. We're always grateful for those of you who choose to be with us on Sundays. It's exciting to have that hope that we can return to really being in community, face to face, as well as heart to heart. And we're also grateful for that virtual community to allow us to continue this process of being in connection. And then part of building community is having some fun together. So 1 week is dedicated to simply having some sort of social, fun, playful, enlivening activity. And then we all come together in week 10 to celebrate this journey that we've been on and then look forward. That's the flow of spirit groups that we are inviting you into. So find that information page on our website and check out what this is about and be part of being in community in a deeper way, in a new experience. You know, this is not a novel idea, small group ministry. Unity has been engaged in small group ministry pretty much throughout its whole essence, was founded on the basis of prayer ministry, gathering in Myrtle and Charles' living room in a small group. Even before that, Jesus assembled a small group in his ministry and worked together to change lives in that era, and that the effect of that small group ministry has been changing lives literally for centuries. So we invite you into your own life-changing journey with us, with partners, to claim and discover your own higher truth of your being. Now is the time for you to locate yourself in God and know that God is located at the point of you. This is our strength, our truth, our own divinity. Blessings.
Aside. I'm leaving my past behind. I'm setting my heart, my mind on you, Jesus. I'm reaching my hands to yours, believing there's so much more, knowing that all you have in store for me is good. Is good. Today is the day you have made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Today is the day you have made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And I won't worry about tomorrow. I'm trusting in what you say. Today is the day. Today is the day. I'm putting my fears aside. I'm leaving my doubts behind. I'm giving my hopes, my dreams to you, Jesus. I'm reaching my hands to yours, believing there's so much more, knowing that all you have in store for me is good. Is good. Today's the day you have made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Today is the day you have made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And I won't worry about tomorrow. I'm trusting in what you say. Today is the day. Today is the day. I will stand up on your truth.
I will stand up on your truth.
And all my days I live for you.
And all my days I live for you.
I will stand up on your truth.
I will stand up on your truth.
And all my days I live for you.
And all my days I live.
Today is the day you have made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Today is the day you have made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And I won't worry about tomorrow. I'm giving you my fears and sorrows. Where you lead me, I will follow. I'm trusting in what you say. Today is the day. Today is the day. Today is the day. Today is the day.
Thank you, Zamar. The act of giving is evidence that we have received. And we appreciate and give thanks for the rich abundance that you share in this community that helps us live this mission of transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in the world. We give in recognition of that source, God everywhere present, especially right here. So we not only give to God as source, especially we give from that sense of God sourced within us as we give to the world. So if you're here in the chapel, you'll leave any gift you have today in the box where Marcia is standing on the side. If you're at home, you know there's a donate button, and we appreciate your generous use of that. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for the giving evidence of your generosity. We always bless the gifts as we invite them. So speak this affirmation with me. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful.
Here and the power is real. Anything can happen and it probably will. Something very good, something good is going on around here.
There's a light that shines and make the dark disappear. Power in the word, but there's nothing to fear. Something very good, something good is going on around here.
I feel it. This is our church on fire. This is our Holy Spirit place. We have our burning desire to live in God's holy name. Let the fire burn in every heart, to light the way, defeat the dark. Let the flame of love burn higher. This is a church on fire. The Spirit is here and the power is real. Anything can happen and it probably will. Something very good, something good is going on around here.
Well, there's a light that burns and makes the dark disappear. Power in the word, but there's nothing to fear. Something very good, something good is going on around here. Here we go.
This is a church on fire. This is a Holy Spirit place. We have a burning desire to live in God's holy name. Let the fire burn in every heart, to light the way, defeat the dark. Let the flame of love burn higher. This is a church on fire. Come on, sing it with us. This is a church on fire. This is a Holy Spirit place. We have a burning desire to live in God's holy name. Let the fire burn in every heart, to light the way, defeat the dark. Let the flame of love burn higher. This is a church on fire. Feeling something very good, something good is going on around here. Do you feel it? Yeah. Something very good, something good is going on around here.
All right, Benita, sing it.
Something very good, something good is going on around here.
Oh, yeah. Woo. Feel that. All right, everyone. Thank you. I hope you feel energized and ready to take on this glorious week, because we are just God-blessed, God-infused, and we go forward. And as we take and consecrate this offering for the generosity of each heart that feels that call to give as source from the presence within, we know that it not only prospers individual lives, but it prospers this community. And ultimately, because we are one, it prospers the world. And we say, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God. And so it is. It can be no other way. Amen. And I just want to thank everyone for joining us today in the chapel. Always a pleasure to see, I was about to say bright smiling faces, but I can tell by the eyes, actually. And then those at home, we feel your presence here with us as well. And I just want to make an announcement about the town hall. We've decided that we were going to just live stream the town hall following today's service. And so it won't be on Zoom. It'll be on live stream. So wherever you're watching from right now, you'll be able to watch it from there as well. And so now let us join heart to heart and stand if you feel to do so as we sing Jehovah, Give Me Courage, the peace song, and Aloha Oi. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is and all is well.
Jehovah, give me eyes of faith and help me always see. There are more with us than against us. Courageous, let me be. Courage, give me courage. With courage I'll endure. Jehovah, give me courage. Your victory is sure. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Aloha, aloha, eke ona ona no ikalipo. One fond embrace, ahoy, until we meet again.
Peace, be well, and we will see you at our virtual town hall. Blessings and thank you.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Is it? It's moved up from the last.
Aloha. Thank you so much for joining us, staying with us. See if I can get a mask off so that you might be able to hear me just a little bit better. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So as we start every town hall, every virtual meeting, etc., we started off with our cue card, remembering who it is that we've come here to be. So again, if you will, with me, please have compassion for me when we are being not enough, distrusting, grieving, blaming, powerless, or fearful. For who we have come here to be is loving, in integrity, unstoppable, spirit-led, empowered in ownership, and transformational. That is who we are here to be. That is what this church is here to be. With the multiple missions that we have, we've got a preschool, we've got a counseling center, a wellness center. We have got multiple ministries that we share with this community. And in that process, we are so grateful for all of the support that we get from everyone. So thank you. Today's update from the board will include 4 or 5 different areas. The first one will be on facilities, the second one on fundraising, then the endowment, then bylaws, treasurer's report, and then a few announcements. And today we have got Debbie Catania, our treasurer, that is joining me to be able to share some of this information. So Debbie, will you come up and join me, please? Thank you guys so very, very much. Do you have, we need a mic here. That's what we're missing. My apologies. So from a facility standpoint, Debbie, let me see if I'll let you find it. So there has been some developments. You know that we had told you that we wanted to raise some money out of the fundraising for the purpose of electrical. Well, we certainly needed some of the fundraising money for the electrical over the course of the last few months. As you may know, if you're in the sanctuary, you will notice that some of the speakers are missing on the sides. The reason for that is that some of them ended up having some problems because the electrical current and some of the crackling that we've had has been problematic, right, Debbie? And in the process of that, what we have found is that some of the power that is back in the green room that we already kind of knew about has had some spikes and some other problems. And kind of to complicate that, when the electrician came out to look at it, he says, this junction box that you've got in this room is so old and it's been associated with a number of fires in the past. So we really need to get rid of the junction box that you've got. And so we are in the process of trying to redo that, bring clean power into the green room, particularly in the area where the music, the speakers, and all of that are. So thank you for having that all done. And Debbie, you want to talk a little bit about the trees?
Absolutely. We're slowly removing the dead and dying coconut trees and raising the canopy of the other trees on the campus. They're either, close to touching the structures or just kind of laying on them. And that's not what we want for our buildings, for the campus in general. So much of the other brush and shrubbery trimming has also been done. And so the grounds around those coconut trees that actually were removed are starting to settle. And so we received this wonderful donation of planters from Drew Erickson.
Exactly.
And, to put in place of those holes that are in the ground and keeping the area safe for everybody.
We had talked about a couple of possibilities of putting either a new tree in there or something. But we also realized we needed something that was going to be big enough that people won't miss it and end up tripping over whatever it was that we have in there. And right now we've got about 3-foot round diameter, about 2.5 feet tall white planter that is out there. It's hard to miss it, but it is gorgeous. It's really attractive, and it's not a problem. So we're very happy about that whole process. And we've got people out there showing, but we won't be able to get that over to see. Anything else in that area? That's about all I know of.
I don't think so.
Okay, fundraising. The 83rd anniversary fundraising, as we've announced a few times, is and is continuing to be a great success. We were trying to raise 100,000. We're up at about 92, 93. I didn't see this week's numbers, but we are real close to meeting our desired outcome of 100,000. So very, very nice. Anything else that you wanted to say about fundraising, Debbie?
Yes. The fundraiser was mostly to repair the neglected areas of the facilities, which you see are getting done, as you come onto the campus. There are also overgrown and dying trees that need to be cut down. And because of the pandemic, the income hasn't been sufficient to keep up with all of the repairs and upkeep that goes along with property and ownership of property.
Exactly. And in that essence, brings us really to a segue to the Endowment Foundation. The Endowment Foundation is doing wonderfully. As people probably remember, the Legacies of Aloha program that had about upper 300,000 or thereabouts got transitioned in 2018 over to the Endowment Foundation, Unity of Hawaii Endowment Foundation. With the way that the stock market and other things have gone, the church's or the Endowment Foundation's assets are now over 633,000, which is going to be very, very helpful as we continue allowing, or as 4% of the dividends are able to be moved over to the church whenever we have paid off the loan that we had in the past. So before long, we're excited about the possibilities of some of that investment in income to come over to the church. We are also excited about the website.
Yes, Reverend Johanna has completed the work on the new foundation website and updated all of the programming language that was necessary. Drew Erickson has also been volunteering his time to resolve issues, and the new website is up and running.
I think we have a little Minahuni. You know, every once in a while the name of Drew Erickson and Allison Peterson comes up with the things that they're doing, and thank you to both of them for all that they have been doing. And thanks again for all of the work that Sally Hartman is doing, not only with the Endowment Foundation. And I think, did I mention that we're up at 633,000 now?
Yes.
For the Endowment Foundation,
yes.
Which is about 15%, right? Over the course of the last year. So we are very excited about the fact that the Endowment Foundation continues to increase in value, which is certainly very supportive of this church. And talking about Sally Hartman, we got the bylaws stuff, and she is chair of that, and she's doing a marvelous job with it. If people haven't gone on the website to look at the proposed new bylaws, please do so, because we need to make sure that you have it all down completely before the annual meeting so that you know exactly what we're doing. As you know, we're using UWM's template, so in the process of that, we're going to have to vote on a full new set of bylaws. It will be impossible to try to redline everything, because what you would find is nothing but red lines because things get moved around. The template is a little bit different. And so read through, please, all of that information. And Debbie, do you want to tell them exactly where to find it on the website?
On the website, it's under Member Resources. On the website, you'll see it, board update. I believe that there's probably another...
There is another place. There is another place. And sometimes what you'll see is that the banner that scrolls across, you'll see it coming up with 2021 proposed bylaws. But also on the second row at the top of the header, there's a place on there for 2021 proposed bylaws. So all you need to do is click on that. You can read through them. There is a wonderful explanation of what we're doing, why we're doing, and all of the information about why we're doing what we're doing and why UWM is wanting us to do part of it. UWM has been wonderful with working with us, and they have really taken into account our desire, and actually they've changed their template to go out to churches based on what we have recommended as well. There are a number of times that you can ask questions. Debbie, do you remember the dates? We've already had 3 of them, I think. We did one in January, and then we did, in December. We did one on January, the beginning part of January. There was another one on the, don't remember, and then the 25th is the next one, and then there'll be one in February. So yes, there is a lot of time that you can pick to call in, join us for those Zoom meetings. And again, the next one will be on January the 25th. I'm pretty sure that's right. Isn't that right, Margie? January 25 is the next?
February
it's
4th.
on Thursday. My apologies, you're right. You're right. I knew that something wasn't quite right. So January the 14th. So we did one in December. We did one in January the 14th. The next one's February the 4th, and then February 25. There's where the 25 came from. It's February the 25th. So thank you. I should have just looked down instead of continuing to look at the camera because my memory wasn't as good as the paper is. Isn't it amazing how sometimes what you write down is much more accurate than what's inside the little noggin? Oh, well, such is life, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Sometimes we get a little older. Go with the flow, that's right. And Debbie, you want to talk to us about the treasurer's report too?
Yeah, this is the part that I'm aware of, or I'm very familiar with.
And so if I can, right before you get in there, please, if there's anybody that has questions, because we're not able to do this one virtual, please send us information, questions that you've got, etc., while Debbie's doing the treasurer's report, and then we'll answer questions as soon as we're through, as soon as she's through.
So this month, or for the month of December, our donations amounted to $16,893.12. Other income was $14,277.58, which gave us a total income of $31,170.70. However, expenses were $34,377.94, which gave us a negative net ordinary income for the month of December in the amount of $3,207.24. Now, overall, from January all the way to December, our net ordinary income did turn out to be a $48,718 deficit for the church. So all of the fundraising and all of the donations that we continue to receive from everyone has been very, very gratefully received.
Most certainly. And once again, we talk about investments, not only in the future, but we talk about investments for this church. The investments of the wellness program, the counseling program, the preschool. As you can see, the other income of $14,000 really comes close to matching the donations that are present from the congregation. So without the preschool, the wellness, the counseling center, and other areas of this ministry, we would be hurting. And thank goodness for the investments that we have placed in a variety of ministries that are supporting this church.
Yes, wonderful ministries, and also coming in quite profitable.
Very, very nicely, exactly. And as the endowment foundation, as soon as we're able to get some of the income that is coming in from it, it is paying off the debts that it has to the endowment. The church is paying off by not receiving the withhold. But as soon as the withhold, as soon as the loans are paid off, then we will continue to receive 4% of all of the money that is in the endowment foundation in perpetuity to keep this church wholesome, well, and functioning and continuing to serve in the multitude of ministries serving the people of this community as well as the state of Hawaii. Margie, have you heard any questions that have come in for virtual town hall?
I'm live. I have not.
You are hot, girl. You're live. Thank you. Nothing has come in at present?
No, nothing.
All right. Any questions that are present from the audience here in the chapel? I see no. Oh, I'm sorry. Catherine? One sec.
I've understood that a number of nonprofits, schools, and things are offering annuities for people as a fundraising possibility or increasing their legacies. Is Unity ever considering doing anything like that?
Thank you very much. The word annuity is a bit of a I'm not real positive what that all is. So individuals can have annuities. Annuities are ones that you put money into, and then depending on how you decide that you want to take the monies out of it, after the age of 70 and a half, you can take it as income. Now what you can do with annuities is you can transfer some of the value of the annuity, particularly that part that you're taking out as not donations. What am I trying to think of? As the amounts that you need to withdraw out of the annuity every year because you're forced to do so. But as you take that out, what you can do is you can give it to an organization like Unity Church of Hawaii, and all of that money then is tax deductible. So you don't have that additional income coming in to pay taxes on. So that's a very beneficial piece. Now, I don't know whether that was the question you were asking. It looks like that was the question you were asking. Okay, perfect. Other questions that people have? Yes, Bonita.
A congregant came up and asked me if they find out if they're a member of the church.
Reverend Margie, would you like to?
Yeah. All they do is they go to the website and they can check on member renewal. And if they'll fill out the form, if they haven't been active, I'll either call or email them and talk about their status. And if they have been active and they need to renew, then woohoo, then they did exactly what they needed to do, is fill out that online form for membership renewal. So I forget what the menu says at the top of the web page. It may say member resources, or it might have membership renewal somewhere in the main menu at the top of our homepage.
And if, for example, I've already done, but if I go back on and I renew again, would that hurt anything?
Not at all. A couple people, because we had our renewal period in September this past year, and not everybody shifted into that habit. So people are still renewing in December and even now. And if you forgot that you did it and you do it again, you don't get extra credit, but you're in the system. It doesn't hurt anything.
Oh, that is perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, it is a little bit confusing. When we voted on the bylaws the last time, we did decide to change it from December back to September. The reason being that things are so crazy around Christmas that it's a little bit difficult for the staff to be able to do all of the stuff they need to do, as well as be able to update all of the membership stuff. But we did decide that we would accept registration updates until January, February, just so that we make sure that everybody that is a member that it got behind in that whole process will still be able to update things for the annual meeting. So, Margie, thank you so much for all of that work. There's a lot of work that gets done in committees, and the committee information that we gave today were the 4 committees that presented to the board for January. There is 3, 4, or 5 committees that present every month at the board meetings. We tried to divide it up so that we've got an understanding from every committee 3 or 4 times a year what is happening in those committees. And if you haven't been watching the board meetings online live on Zoom, please do so. There's a lot of information that is there, and we try to make sure that everybody knows when the board meetings are going to be. But in general, it's confusing, isn't it, Debbie? It is the first Thursday after the 17th of the month. And you may say, why in the world do you do that? The reason that we do it is when we were sending everything out to Stephen Lee, we didn't get the information and the numbers back until the 10th of the month. So we had to move it to where it's really about the 18th. But we tried, so the finance committee meeting is the first Thursday after the 10th. And then the board meeting is the one after that. So it'll be about the 18th or so, the next Thursday after that. So most of the time, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of the 20-something to the end of the month.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that pretty close to? I know it's confusing.
It's a whole lot of confusing.
It is a whole lot confusing. And what we really need to do is we need to have on the board a calendar that has every date on it. We'll see what we can do with making that a little bit easier. So all you have to do is just go to the board webpage, and we'll have the calendar on it. Second Thursday after the 10th, or the first Thursday after the 17th. So yeah, you got it. Whichever way you want to remember it, but it's 2 weeks after the Thursday of close to the 10th. That's right. Anything else you can think of, Debbie?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. It's all good. Thank you guys so very, very much for joining us. And what you can now do is go over to Community Connection, sign in there, and Reverend Margie, you're going to talk about your talk and let people ask you questions.
And whatever else they want to talk about.
That sounds beautiful. Okay. Blessings to one and all. Thank you for those that are still in the sanctuary and those that are at home. We appreciate you. We honor you. We bless you. And we behold the Christ that is present in each one of you. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you.